And if we don't have any fun before we die, then what fun is that?
Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode of the Jeff Heilman Project. So glad for you to be able to tune in. Hopefully you're doing well. We're through the gauntlet of elections, and on the other side, as I was saying, Wednesday was going to appear regardless of the circumstances. So hopefully this podcast finds you well and healthy and whole and in a state of acceptance and just ready to move forward. I think that's the thought that everybody has on their mind. Let's move forward. So for today's episode, it's actually a two-part episode. I have in honor...
She's the producer.
In honor of your birthday coming up. It's a big one. Our buddy Jeff here will be turning 50 this year. And I thought it was funny how you said you and your friend have accepted, you went through the denial, you went through all the grieving, the phases of grieving, and now you're in
all the phases.
Let's tear it up. We're going to tear this thing up. This is going to be the best year yet.
That's right. That's right.
Would you like to speak a little bit toward how you're feeling turning 50?
I'm feeling better.
Good. Good.
Yeah, I mean, part of turning 50, I think, for a lot of guys is recognizing that your testosterone levels aren't where they used to be, your energy levels aren't where they used to be. You may not be as strong, or you may not feel as good as you felt before. There are things that you can do about that, and I've got friends that are doing things about that look and feel better than they felt when they were in their 20s because they're more active and they lift and eat better.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Do a little bit less of this. This is a victory cigar for my birthday and for the election and for a couple of wins that we've had for the last in business and in deals that we've worked to close. So this is a day of victory. And, I know that people could say, oh, you shouldn't be political and you're going to upset your base because you're not pandering to both sides and all that stuff. And I really want this podcast to be about who we really are and who the audience is that likes what we're doing. So we're not against anybody. I put a post on Facebook first thing this morning. For the record, I'm 100% for Kamala Harris. And I hope that she finds something that she can do to add value to people's lives. And I wish her well, and I hope that she's successful in all of her future endeavors.
Well, it's our goal through mental toughness training that our friends, our family, those that subscribe to what we're doing would be victorious regardless of circumstances and would feel the sense of victory every day that you wake up, regardless of what your bank account says, what the political environment says, what your neighbors say, that you would feel as if you were gaining personal momentum and walking a victorious life regardless of what's going on. And so, the fact that you're celebrating and finding victory, the key is you have found victory in the results of the election, but you would have found victory in the results of the election regardless of who was elected.
Well, I'm going to win
that's the goal.
Anyway, eventually.
Exactly.
Like, that's what we're working on because we're winners. But, when you have a victory,
yeah,
our guy won.
Yeah.
The guy that we feel like we have more in common with, the guy that we feel was the better man, the better person.
Has our support.
Has our support that we voted for, won the election. And that's victorious. I mean, that's an awesome thing.
My goal is to be Switzerland here, to vote policy, not politics. So we're not voting for a person, we're voting for policy.
Well, we did vote for a person. We both did. And that person won. And when you have a victory in your life, when something goes the way you want it to go, because people need to celebrate the victories, I think, more than they do.
100%.
And
Hey, I'm not on Noom today. I was like, I'm going to sleep
I
in.
know. You slept
I
in. You
slept
didn't send me
in.
your calendar for
I
the
didn't
morning,
send the
night before.
calendar.
I know.
I didn't go. I didn't do my Peloton this morning. I'm enjoying my victorious moment of joy and just breath of fresh air. I feel the vibe. I feel you, and in feeling you,
I'm excited because I have a feeling that we're going to start to see prosperity in this country like we've never seen before, and that this can be a day of victory for Democrats too, when they look at what they get in exchange for their candidate winning. Napoleon Hill said, "In every adversity is a seed of equal or greater benefit," and I think that, to me, Biden winning in 2020, supposedly, was an adversity. It was an adversity for our country. It was an adversity from an economic standpoint. We're all paying a price of lower productivity, higher taxes, higher inflation rates, just astronomical inflation rates on lots of stuff, and that ends up compounding. So there's adversity out of that. The benefit, the seed of equal or greater benefit that comes out of the adversity from having Biden in the White House for 4 years, is that we've had Trump in the public eye. We're going to have Trump in the public eye for 12 instead of just 8, which is a huge advantage.
Very excited about, after listening to the Joe Rogan Experience and
What a
seeing
great interview. Oh my
seeing
gosh.
how he admitted to, being led in his cabinet, in his choices by people that he was not, didn't know well enough. I'm very, very much looking forward to see what Robert Kennedy is going to do for the healthcare system, as well as Elon in the area of energy. And every success book that we've ever written talks about a successful man like Andrew Carnegie's ability to delegate to those that know more about things than you do successfully, and being able to source these, obviously no one right now in the energy space has the experience as Elon does. And so being able to put him in the role, in the position to be able to help, or to have Robert Kennedy and his, his natural versus synthetic, and like everything that he stands for, to be able to help us in health.
It'll be interesting to see J.D. Vance. I mean, J.D. Vance is young, right?
Yeah.
Vice president at, what is he, 45, 46?
Andrew, do you know? Oh, Andrew says he's
40 years old, 10
he's
years
just
younger
a
than
pup.
me. Yeah, he's a pup. And I was talking to my buddy Mark that I was, shout out to Mark and Christine for having us over for their place for election night, third election in a row. It was awesome. And I was talking to Mark last night, and we're like, think of the meetings he's going to be in. He's 40, and he's going to be in meetings with some of the biggest hitters on the planet. And what a great training ground for potentially, a run for him coming off the back of a Trump administration. So, are we compassionate for the people who didn't have the election go the way they wanted? Yes, we are compassionate. And I don't think that there needs to be necessarily a conflict between feeling a sense of victory and having our guy win after what feels like, kind of having the election stolen last time, to actually feeling like it's the way it should be now. Is that he was supposed to win 4 years ago. He didn't win for whatever reason, government election interference or otherwise. But it seemed that there was enough election interference, at least from our point of view, that he should have won, and he should have been in the White House for the last 4 years, and he wasn't. And because of that, everybody in America had to pay a price financially for it, and now things are made right. And so I think that Democrats can look at, okay, well, on the bright side, right? Was there a bright side of Biden being in office? Yeah, we have Trump in the public eye for 12 years instead of 8. So that's going to set up an advantage for the Republican Party to be able to continue, hopefully, with either Ivanka or J.D. Vance or some other strong candidate that comes forward. And I think that Democrats can look at this from a seed of equal or greater benefit, too, which is that Kamala's still young. Right? She could potentially run next year. She seemed to have a lot of support. She got 200 electoral college votes and really only campaigned for a couple of months because
Yeah.
She didn't come in until super late. So for her to run as hard as she did, I mean, I didn't think she had a chance of getting anything. I really didn't. I thought it would be a much bigger landslide than 100 electoral college votes. And she showed up strong. She made almost 230 electoral college votes and won, 55 or 60 million. I think Trump was at like 70 and she was like 65 million. So she got as many votes this year as Trump got, I think, last year from when he ran against Biden. So, the seat of equal or greater benefit, I don't think she's discouraged. I think she's young. She's got plenty of time to run again. And I think there's a lot of economic benefit that if the Democrats, who might be feeling bad today and for the next couple of days, if they can set their sails to the winds of change, that they can reap financial benefits from it just like Republicans can.
On that segue,
Cheerful
we're going to
note.
have a little bit of fun.
Okay.
So this is, like I said, this is going to be a 2-part episode. And in honor of your 50th birthday coming up, I have gone to Google and found through Mental Floss website 20 inventions that are turning 50 this year in
Wow.
2025.
Okay.
So there are 20 inventions that are turning 50 in
Abacus
2025.
is not one of them.
And I felt that this would be a fun episode in order to highlight, because someday our kids' kids are going to be watching this and they're going to be able to say, oh, wow, like that happened in my grandpa or my mom and dad's lifetime. So taking into consideration that before you and I were born, these were not things, but now they have become somewhat mainstream things and important to our everyday life. So I'm going to read to you the description. I'm not going to say what it is right away, because then that would be just me reading it, and what fun is that? But you tell me, I'm going to tell you the description, and then you tell me what the product is. And so it starts out, just the introduction is, the 1970s were an irrefutably iconic era in history. The decade gave us bell-bottoms, the disco revolution, and plenty of products that left their mark. Several items celebrate their 50th anniversary in 2024.
Is the Pet Rock one of them?
From their humble beginnings in garages and labs, these objects from 1974 have grown to become integral parts of our everyday lives.
Okay.
The first one in 1968, a scientist named Spencer Silver accidentally developed an adhesive that struck the balance of being weak enough to separate paper without tearing, while still being strong enough to stick to an additional surface. But Silver and his company could not think of a practical way to market the adhesive. For a time, it remained a fruitless idea. Everything changed
Sticky note.
when a man named Art Fry entered the picture in 1974. While singing in church, he wondered if there was a way to leave a stick-on bookmark on his hymnal without damaging it upon removal. Fry and Silver worked together to develop prototypes, and eventually this product was born.
The 3M sticky note.
Post-it notes.
Post-it note.
Correct.
Yeah.
At this time, at least, it was called a Post-it note. So
Post-it
the
note.
Post-it note was developed in 1974
Is that right?
to answer a question of how can I stick something to a bookmark to save my page without tearing the page.
That's fascinating. And it was a Bible
It
reading.
was a Bible. It was
hymnal book
at church one
use
day,
case. Nice.
wondering what he could do.
Okay, that's very good.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's very good.
The next one, there aren't many products that both educate and entertain. This product developed in 1974.
is one of them.
This product developed in 1974 by a Hungarian puzzle lover is certainly an exception. It was marketed as a tool to help children learn about three-dimensional objects, but it wasn't actually built for that purpose.
Rubik's Cube?
The inventor was generally fascinated by geometry and invented this to challenge himself. By doing so, he created a frenzy of fans called cubers and legacy that lasts to this day.
It's got to be the Rubik's Cube.
The Rubik's Cube.
It was built in 1974.
Developed in 1974 by Hungarian puzzle lover named Erno Rubik.
Wow.
And initially called the Magic Cube, was marketed as a tool to help children learn three-dimensional
I've actually
objects.
watched on YouTube, and maybe Andrew can put a little clip in there, of guys that solve 3 or 4 Rubik's Cubes while they're juggling. It is the most amazing. Have you ever seen that, Andrew? He's nodding his head, yes.
It's pretty cool. Our kids can do it pretty quick. Who's got the record? Is it Osh? Andrew?
I think Joe's probably done it in 60 seconds.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Well, there's like some algorithm or some...
There's an algorithm that you learn and you...
There's a system that you go left, right, or whatever. I don't even know how they do it, but it's pretty incredible.
Yeah. But I've seen, I don't know what the world record is, but it's got to be down to like...
Very fast.
10 seconds or 20 seconds?
It's 3 seconds.
3 seconds.
3 point what?
I think it's 3.1 or 3.2.
That's crazy.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's a whole other level. I was the kid that peeled the stickers off and like removed the sticker and then
I just didn't play it because I didn't like losing. I don't like losing. I don't like playing games I can't win.
It was very frustrating for me.
You just take the stickers
I
off.
just took the stickers off.
I would actually break the bricks and move them and
put them back.
I didn't think about the stickers.
How did you solve a Rubik's Cube?
How did you solve a Rubik's Cube?
So 1974, again, a Rubik's Cube was invented.
Okay, so Post-it notes and Rubik's Cubes, both part of modern culture.
Inventor Joe Woodland came up with the idea for this product while relaxing on the beach. He jotted a design in the sand and knew that it had the potential to revolutionize shopping. After going through a series of trials, prototypes, and designs, the first one of these was scanned in a small Ohio town called Troy in 1974. The product that started it all? None other than an average pack of Wrigley's Juicy Fruit Gum. Now, Woodland's invention is a permanent fixture in the world's shopping experience, not to mention an absolute blessing for those who have to regularly conduct stock inventory.
It's got to be the UPC barcode.
The UPC barcode was invented by Joe Woodland as at the beach, while relaxing at the beach.
Wow.
See how we've talked on this show many times about the power
about the great ideas that come from
relaxing and just, I mean, the one guy's at church, the Post-it note inventor's at church, this guy's sitting on the beach, drawing in the sand, UPC barcodes.
Yeah.
This next one is, I'm like, how am I gonna read this without, how about let me finish reading it and then say what you think it is, because I just don't really know how to say it without skirting it. How do I hide it? Okay. Despite ongoing debates regarding the ever-increasing use of robots and the development of AI, the latter of which is coding and programming that creates systems with human-like intellectual processes, while the former refers to the machines themselves, the importance of this product with modern society can't be questioned. The year 1974 was a big one for robotics, particularly in the industrial context. It's when MIT student David Silver invented this product. The device was built to simplify small part assembly and was equipped with touch sensors and the ability to provide tactical feedback, functions that were practically unheard of in robotics. This machine paved the way for automated production.
Is it the robotic arm?
The Silver robotic arm, invented by David Silver and was referred to as the Silver arm.
Wow.
And that was invented in 1974 by an MIT student.
Wow. And
I just remember, because my parents, being in the Silicon Valley, one of the companies my mom worked at was Androbot. I remember she worked for a company called Androbot. I remember National Semiconductor visiting my parents. I remember seeing the, looks like a crane almost with a little pointed needle nose tip, and being able to pick up the, what are those little things called? The little prongs. It would pick up the little prongs out of the motherboard, and then it would put the prong down.
Relays.
It was just super cool. So that was kind of cool. So in 1974, the Silver robotic arm was invented.
Wow. And think about how many things are made today. I mean, paint, the paint booths for cars.
Oh, yeah. The just the fact that there's little hands that can do that. This is a beverage. So if you've ever enjoyed a cocktail, this type of cocktail, chances are that you've had the opportunity to taste it. This liqueur is iconic for being the first of its kind. Surprisingly delicious combination of the richness of cream and the powerful punch of whiskey. Though cream-based alcohol is now fairly common, this wasn't the case in 1974 until this product came out.
It's not eggnog.
Bailey's Irish Cream.
Bailey's Irish Cream.
If you've ever enjoyed a Nutty Irishman or other coffee-based cocktail, chances are you've had the opportunity
Bailey's
to taste
Irish Cream.
this.
Who knew? I think that's what I brought your dad when I first met him, was Harvey's Bristol Cream, which I think is
I thought you had sherry. I remember there was
Harvey's.
like,
It was
is
Harvey's
that
Harvey's
what
Bristol Cream.
Yeah. Well,
Because that's what my parents had, so I didn't know anything about alcohol because I'd only been 21 for like a month.
yeah.
So
1974, Bailey's
I brought
was
you
born.
flowers, your mom flowers, and I brought Harvey's Bristol Cream.
As
for
we
your
enter
dad.
into the holiday seasons, you can all thank Mr. Bailey. I don't even know who it's named after, but 1974 for that invention. So this one, before the inventor of this popularized his namesake, which he detailed in a 1974 article called "Pop Goes the Cafe Coronary." The common response to choking was repeated strikes on the back. This started as a theory based on doctors' observations on dogs and turned out to have a high success rate in preventing fatal choking episodes.
Mr. Heimlich maneuver.
Henry Heimlich popularized his namesake abdominal thrust maneuver. Isn't that amazing to think that before 1974,
People just died,
you just thumped people on the back?
or they die.
Or I've had, or they die before they up through the diaphragm and up out. I mean, for kids, for babies, like we've had plenty of opportunity.
turn 'em upside down.
I turn them upside down and like thump it out. But,
But people, you have a tough time doing that at the dinner table.
yeah. So thank you, Mr.
Wow,
Heimlich.
thank you, Heimlich maneuver.
And most recently, in the last 50 years,
Do you know anybody that's had
maneuver. Had to have the Heimlich
and
maneuver?
had the Heimlich done?
No,
too?
I mean just the kids with flipping them upside down and like thumping their back.
We've all felt that feeling of like, I can't get air.
Yeah, but no, I've never known anybody that's had to undergo the Heimlich maneuver. And maybe you guys do. Leave a comment. Tell
Any
us.
Heimlich maneuver survivors?
Tell us about it. Tell
We'd
us
love
your
to know.
experience.
We're glad you're here.
But I have known that, I guess, evidently, like, waiters and waitresses obviously have to be trained on the Heimlich maneuver. Flight
do?
attendants.
Flight attendants
they
do.
go through. They
Yeah,
have
CPR.
They have courses that are available for. I mean, if you're at a restaurant, I would assume it's the higher end restaurants. You know, the nicer restaurants are gonna.
If you go to Chick-fil-A,
Yeah, well, maybe Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is different. It's my pleasure. Thank you for giving me the Heimlich
thank you
maneuver.
for giving me that.
My pleasure.
My pleasure for Heimlich maneuvering you.
But some other places,
If you go to-
Taco Bell
you go
might
to
not.
Taco Bell and Chick-fil-A, don't
no
expect the
dishing on
Heimlich
Taco
maneuver.
Bell. But your food is so
But if you
small
go to
that
Le
you're not going to
Papillon
choke
in
anyway.
San Jose, you never know.
Yeah.
Over on Bascom.
So this author, revolutionizing his industry,
Stephen King.
has been taking on the frightfully impactful genre for decades. Often referred to as the king of horror, novelist and film director Stephen King has been taking on the frightfully impactful genre for decades.
You're doing a really good job, by the way. These are
King's
good things.
first novel, Carrie, is a story
Carrie,
about
that's
a
right.
young girl who is relentlessly bullied and retaliates with telekinetic powers. The novel kicked off King's long and decorated career in the horror genre in 1974. So,
Wow. 1974. So he's got to be like 80-something. Because he didn't start writing until
Andrew,
later.
do you know how old he is? You've done the.
How old is Stephen King?
He says
Yeah.
Andrew thinks he's 82.
Yeah, he had written other stuff, but he didn't. It wasn't until he started scaring the crap out of people that, that worked. You know, maybe I could sell some more books.
Okay, so this one is different. So this is as important today as it was when
Computer.
it was enacted in 1974. Think about it like this. Imagine the government has a huge filing cabinet with folders about everyone containing things like your name, where you live, and maybe even your medical history. This regulates how federal agencies collect, use, and disseminate people's personal information. It's not just about hiding the information either. It's about keeping it safe and ensuring the government doesn't commit unwarranted invasions. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Privacy Act.
Yes, the Privacy Act. The Privacy Act is the U.S. Privacy Act was enacted in 1974.
Okay.
So
fascinating.
now, thus being protected when it comes to all of our sensitive information. Every time that you have to do one of those signature and sign your terms of agreements and all of that privacy about your identity and all that, that was thanks to the Privacy Act, U.S. Privacy Act in 1974.
Amazing.
The next one. This invention, developed by Milton Bradley, debuted in 1974. Inspired by the classic tic-tac-toe, four players seek to get 4 chips into uninterrupted rows in order to secure a win.
Connect 4.
Connect 4.
Wow, that was like my favorite.
Oh my God, I loved Connect 4.
Favorite game. That was my favorite game. I loved it.
I remember growing up, my aunt, kids, your aunt as well, would have had, I mean, we were all like the Royal Tannenbaums where you open up the closet and you see there's the board game closet, you know. And she had the board games, and we were all about the board games. This is before television. This is before cable. This is before, like, it was board games. And she would hold me to the ages on the box.
Oh, no.
So unless I was 8+,
oh, no,
I didn't
you
get to
couldn't
play that
play
game.
it. Oh,
so you think about all the games between like 2 to 4, like there was Connect 4 would have been one that I would have been able to play post being able to choke on the the other thing.
Pieces, yeah.
I remember playing Perfection, which I absolutely loved, although it like the thought of it now makes my adult body freak out.
I know.
Operation Perfection, anything that buzzed or clicked or had a timer on it, that was pretty fun. But oh man, there were some good games growing up that we just really enjoyed playing.
My favorite was Stadium Checkers.
What Stadium is that, like Chinese checkers? No, what's Stadium Checkers?
Stadium Checkers is actually marbles. Does anybody put it in the comments if it does?
I remember Chinese checkers with the holes and like marbles.
Yeah, this is different. This is Stadium Checkers. This has a plastic. It's like a plastic ring. It probably weighed, I don't know, 12 ounces or 18 ounces. Like it was like a pound. And it was a plastic ring game board. And it had circles inside, like a bullseye. And you turn them. And as you turn them, they're like tumblers in a lock. Mm-hmm. And the marbles that would start on the outside would move and your job was to move. You'd roll the dice or something and see how many things you could move. And then as you moved it, your marbles would fall. But then the other guy's marbles would fall too. So you had to be strategic in how you did it. And so I really thought there were 2 games that I loved growing up. One was Stock Market.
Of course.
Which was amazing. I'm like, this is like way better than Monopoly. Monopoly, who's going to be a dog that walks around and goes to jail? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But the stock market is like you roll and you have stock and the stock market goes up and the stock market goes down. And then you sell your stock, turn it into cash, and then you ride it on the way up. And so I always really like stock market and I really like Stadium Checkers.
I'm just like thinking back to the sheer amount of games. Like I would Trouble and Sorry
and Chutes and
there
Ladders.
Was that one, I don't remember what it's called, but it had like the plastic cylinder with all the sticks. And it had like marbles at the top, and you had to pull the sticks out, and the marbles would drop.
Yeah, or Mousetrap.
Mousetrap. See, I couldn't do Mousetrap. That gave me too much anxiety. Mousetrap gave me incredible anxiety. I couldn't do Mousetrap.
You kick
and plus, I'm so impatient with the setup and having to set that freaking game up.
Well, you set it up one thing at a time as you go around. You set it up, and then with the boot, it like kicks the bucket and then the ball
That's
falls.
pretty cool. I mean, I do like the
Yeah.
whole.
Oh, it's-
What is kinetics? Is it, what is it called when momentum and you like one thing leads to another? I think it's
know.
some sort of kind of. Anyways, okay, moving on. This invention. This is number 10. Next episode, we're gonna do the remaining 10. So this invention was originally invented in the United Kingdom. Shout out to the UK. Though the confection didn't enter the U.S. scene in North America until 1979, there isn't a lot of confirmed information regarding the origins of this. Rather than state the truth, the website contains a wild tale about how the rainbow treats came from space. What rainbow treat confection was invented in 1974 in the UK and then coming onto the scene in 1979?
Lifesavers?
Skittles. Taste the rainbow.
Oh,
Skittles were invented the year you were born.
I did not know that. I
Not
actually
exactly.
have Skittles
You
in
do.
my little care package from Nessie.
Aw.
Nessie made sure
Yes,
that I had a
we
little
also,
Skittles.
in addition to
the only one I didn't
surviving, I'm like, in addition to surviving the election, we've survived Halloween and trick-or-treating.
Diabetes?
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly. We've survived the onslaughts of candies. But Skittles was invented in 50 years ago.
Wow.
So
Happy birthday, Skittles.
happy birthday. I can remember, I mean, lots of commercials
I
on
have woken up
television.
with many blue tongue from eating all those Skittles. That was fun.
So these are just some. These are the first 10 from the article, from the Mental Floss article regarding like inventions, popular things that are turning 50 this year. And as you are embracing your new awareness,
I'm getting used to it.
and accepting.
I'm
your
getting used to it.
turning
I'm
50.
starting to have fun. I am starting to have fun. I'm starting to realize, like, look, we're gonna die eventually, and if we don't have any fun before we die, then what fun is that? So I'm starting to have a good time and traveling. I was up in Seattle last weekend with a buddy, and I got to get the newsletter. I'm excited about getting standard operating procedures for the newsletter ready to go. Consulting is doing well. My day job is going well. We're coming up on the metrics that we need. Ultimately, 300 subscribers toward 1,000, with I think 4,000 hours of watch time in a year. So
Didn't you just get introduced recently as Jeff from the Jeff Heilman
I
project?
did.
I mean, I was like, wow. Okay.
yeah, one of my clients called me. This is Jeff Heilman from the Jeff Heilman project. So I thought that was kind of fun, and I would just encourage people that if you look at what to do to solve your financial stuff, start working on a personal brand. I am known in certain circles now as the guy that makes it rain, the guy that closes big deals, the guy that can build big channels, consulting, public speaking, personal one-on-one coaching. And part of it is because I've done a lot of that stuff for free long enough for people to get to know me. Part of it is because I brand myself that way. Part of it is the podcast. Part of it is newsletters and text messages to people. And life is starting to get easier for us. Not yet. Not super
I
easy.
thought you were going to say that you're branded as the guy who wears workout shorts and a puffy parka on
Sometimes I
his
wear
podcast.
the puffy parka. Yeah. Good news is it's my podcast, so I can wear stuff if I want. But
Hey, this is absolutely 100% about being your most authentic self.
I am
So
very excited about
we accept
surviving.
you here. We love you.
Thank you.
Just the way you are. Come as you are.
I'm really excited about turning 50. I kind of can't believe it. When I was a kid, I thought, I don't know if I'm going to live to 50 because I didn't do things that people
All I
who
can
lived to
say
50
is
did.
when we were younger, it felt like 50-year-olds look like today's 80-year-olds. And I don't know if it
No
was just
joke.
the like smoking
Looks
or
like I picked the wrong week to quit amphetamines.
it was the smoking or the alcohol, like, but I just remember my grandparents in their
Dude, 50
50s
was
and 60s
rough.
that like they looked just old.
Yeah.
And maybe it was because like look at how in essence, look at how healthy we are today, like with the understanding of nutrition and food and automation, being able to, I mean, a lot
Yeah,
of.
we've worked physical
If you
labor
watch
almost
the-
entirely
if
out of our
anybody
lives.
has watched that the most recent Ronald Reagan biopic
Movie, yeah.
with Dennis Quaid, like I mean, the guy's like 70, chopping wood. I mean, like we have automated our way into
I haven't chopped wood in a while.
into a much potentially apathetic, but yet also the manual labor things we've been able to successfully outsource, and so we've been able to focus more on like walking, jogging, hiking, being more healthy because we're not having to do things that are especially
Yeah, and we have more
grueling.
time. Like
Yes.
being able to work hard and build standard operating procedures for all the stuff we do at work so we can free ourselves up so we have some free time. Like time to paint and draw. I'm taking an art class. I'm taking guitar lessons. Like there's other things that I'm doing in addition to driving business growth.
I mean, I remember seeing my grandpa at like 70 years old on a scaffolding that he had made, like roofing the house
Painting a
at like
roof in the
70,
house,
like
yeah.
roofing the house. You know, it's like, okay, like I can see how we looked, how our older generation looked older then than we do now. I mean, I feel like the 60-year-olds today look like they're 40, like compared to like when I was a
They
kid
can.
and
Like,
looking at
it's-
like what a 40-year-old would look
I
like.
will say that 50 seems to be the line. I thought the line was
Oh, and Botox. We all have to shout out to
nobody's
Botox.
perfect.
Shout out to Botox.
I used to think that the line was 40, where you could tell like who took care of themselves or who didn't. The line is 50.
Yeah, now.
You can tell. Like one group of people is going like this, and the other group of people is off a cliff. And for those of you who might feel like you were off a cliff, I felt like I was off a cliff about 4 years ago until I started lifting. And then I started losing weight. I started not getting the physical muscle development that I wanted from the hard work, so I had to start changing my diet. And that got into weight loss and intermittent fasting and changing my sleep cycle and getting more hydrated. And, you know, I probably smoke a cigar maybe once every 60 days or 90 days. So I don't smoke hardly at all. I don't drink very much alcohol. Did I have a half a glass of wine? I had a half a glass of wine last night. That's it. Maybe a full, I might have had a refill.
I've
Two
made
halves.
it a practice to go when you go places to not count the amount of
Yeah,
alcohol your
but I
friends
didn't-
are drinking.
Like I used to drink a lot, you know. I used to drink a lot. When I would go out, I would drink a lot, and now I just drink Diet Coke, you know, because I just don't need it. I have a good time wherever I am, right?
You are the good time wherever you
Well,
go.
we try to be fun, right? Trying to have a good time.
That's
So,
right. Well,
thanks everybody for being with us here
Thanks for tuning
on the
in
Jeff Heilman Project.
today
45 minutes past the hour.
As we celebrate the 50th turning the 50th year for Jeff.
It could be a
and
good
things
thing.
Turning
It
50.
could be a good thing.
We hope that wherever you're at, in whatever station of life that you're in, that you would stop, smell the roses, and see all of the wonderful things that have been created while you have been alive. Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the Jeff Heilman project with your friends.
Your favorite show about nothing.
God bless you guys.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.